Christos, it's been a while at this point. I think like 9 months or so, I guess. Was that by design, or is that just kind of the way the schedule worked out?
It was a little bit by design. After my last fight, because I had just moved to Florida, I took that fight like midway, like literally I was still in California. And I didn't really get a chance to kind of adapt to the new team, to the new state and all that. So I felt like that fight was a little rushed, in my opinion, but I mean, no excuses. But after that fight, I told my manager, man, like, hey, I'm going to take the rest of the year off. And then starting January, I was ready to look for a fight, but then I got COVID. And they offered me Jim Miller. Well, my manager said there was an opening for Jim Miller for February, right when like COVID was at its, like, it only had it bad for one day. But I didn't know how it was going to play out, and I was like, can we push it? And they weren't having it, so I was like, I just had to turn it down. But, you know, come February, I was ready. Okay, hey, March or April. But, you know, April came along, I was ready to fight. They offered me Steve Garcia, but he turned me down because his fight fell out. So I've just been looking for a fight since then, and I finally got one booked for now.
Nice. I was going to ask you about that last fight because I know it was probably a frustrating one. You talked about everything that was going on at that time. So, I mean, are there lessons that you take out of that, or is it just like, well, it's a fight game, that kind of stuff happens sometimes?
Yeah, a little bit of both. You know, it does happen. Obviously, Arman is a top prospect. You know, I believe he might be a title contender at some point. He's, you know, the main event in this card. So, but yeah, I definitely, it felt rushed. I felt like during fight week, I don't think I've ever been so nervous because I wasn't even sure if I had a good camp because I didn't even know who was going to corner me, to be honest. And I was still like adapting, getting to know my teammates. You know, when I was sparring, I didn't know the vibe. It was just everything was just a little off, you know. And I just wanted to adapt and get accustomed to it. And especially, you know, every round is a hard go. You know what I mean? It's something I had to get used to. So I feel very, very well prepared now. Like it's going to be a whole different game.
I did want to ask you about coming in and like Arman is in the main event, right? You're like, that's the guy I lost to last. Like, is there something kind of weird about it? Like, now I got to be around this dude on fight week.
Nah, it's all business at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I mean, all my losses in the UFC are to top prospects. So I know I definitely belong. Just a little tweaks. I definitely think moving to this new team definitely elevated me to the next level. So I definitely think that going forward, it's just going to be a whole new Christos coming in, and I'm super excited to showcase my skills now.
I was going to ask you, so now at this point, I mean, you feel like you've had time to adapt. I guess, can you talk about what, I guess, maybe the focus has been or where you feel the biggest impact has been? I mean, what have you seen during this time that now you've really dug in?
Well, just from the beginning, when I first moved there, you know, into my sparring rounds, grappling rounds, going with guys in the beginning, you know, not winning as many rounds, you know, feeling like, damn, like, you know, the confidence wasn't all there because I'm like, you know, these guys are tough, you know, a lot of tough guys. So now, you know, this camp, I feel like I adapted and I'm winning a lot more rounds. I'm doing well. People respect me over there, and I definitely made a name for myself at the gym. So it just a whole new level of confidence has come over me. I've never felt this confident walking into a fight, and going with top guys like that really helps me just be more confident at the end of the day and just really believe in myself, knowing what I can do with all high-level guys.
Talk about Thiago, what you see as an opponent, right? He's had some setbacks as well, but obviously a very talented guy. So what do you see in him as an opponent?
I think he's very technical, a very good fighter. He was ranked number 14 at one point, and I think he's very good. I think this is a great matchup, though. You know, he's fought tough guys. I fought tough guys. You know, we're both, you know, he's 4-4 in the UFC. I'm 5-5. So I think the UFC did a great job at this matchup. And I knew I was going to fight him at some point because I fought on the same card as him in the RFA when he fought for the title, and Dana White was there for his show. And, you know, he didn't get signed. I didn't get signed, but I feel like Dana White was more impressed with me. But I thought I'd fight him for the title. You know, I was a title holder for RFA at one point, but I thought I was going to get that chance again against Thiago. So I knew I was going to fight him at some point. So the time is here. It's finally here, and I like this matchup a lot. And I just feel like stylistically, it's a great matchup for me.
What's the goal here for you? I mean, is it just getting a win, or is it something about like eliminating, the thoughts of that last one or proving to people where you stand now at this point? I mean, what's the overall goal here?
To get my hand raised at the end of the day, but I definitely want to make a statement. I definitely want to go for the finish and not leave it in the hand of the judges. You know how that goes a lot of times. So I just want to show everybody what I can do now, and I think this is a perfect fight to do that. And yeah, you know what I mean. I want to come forward. I want to put him on his back foot, but obviously I got to be careful because he's very technical, very good, and he has good jiu-jitsu. But I think my jiu-jitsu is very underrated. I mean, Armin tried to take me down. I defended a takedown against him, and he has really good wrestling. So I think he's going to be shocked at my power, at my skills, and I'm just looking for a great performance.
I love it. Last thing for me, I guess, as you play this out, what kind of fight do you think we see? Because like you said, you guys are both very talented guys. I mean, do you think this is going to be kind of a back-and-forth kind of scrap? Do you think it's something you go dominate? Like, what kind of fight do we see?
I mean, listen, it's either going to be me getting a performance bonus or me going for the fight of the night. You know what I mean? If he's coming to fight, then it's going to be a back-and-forth battle. But I'll tell you this, I'm coming to fight, and I'm coming to, be in his face. I'm coming to put on a show. So, if he can keep up, then it's going to be a battle. But I feel like this fight's going to be the fight is who's going to break first. And I don't see myself breaking. I fight tired. If I get tired, I'll fight tired. But I'm in the best shape I've ever been. I know that because I tested it with my little 3-mile run that I do, and I got the all-time best time. So I'm walking in this fight with a lot of confidence in my cardio and my skills. And yeah, we'll see Saturday night. You know what I mean?
Hey, Christos. Moving from California to Florida, how has living in Florida been?
It's been awesome. I love Florida. I didn't think I was going to fall in love with it this much, but I just being a part of that team, I never knew it can make that much of a difference until I experienced it for myself. So I just think I definitely leveled up. You know what I mean? Like whatever level I was at, I definitely grew. I'm getting a lot of compliments, a lot of good feedback from my partners, my coaches. So especially when I first started to where I'm at now, and I'm only getting better. So, and I've been in the game a long time. This will be my 11th UFC fight, and I just think I'm just a whole lot better and a whole lot different and a lot tougher, and I'll be more violent, I'll tell you that.
Can't wait. What was the decision to go to Sanford?
Actually, my wife, they offered my wife for her job that she has if she wanted to move because they needed some people on the East Coast. She's in medical device sales. And at first I said no because I never wanted to leave Florida. And I just joined a new team out there. And I was coming off a big win. I got the performance bonus, and I felt comfortable. And it was sad to leave because I felt like I had a lot of friends and I knew the gym really well. But so I was like, thinking about still like using them, maybe flying there for a camp. But once I joined Sanford and realized the level of everybody there and how like much more I had to grow, it's just been awesome. And like I wish I did it earlier, to be honest. I think I would have been doing a lot better, you know what I mean? So I think it's very important going with high level guys because you can't be the best in the gym. You need guys to show you where your holes are. And I definitely got exposed, and I cleaned those up, and I'm ready to showcase that.
Last for me, did Michael Johnson give you any tips about Thiago Moises?
Oh, absolutely. Michael Johnson's been one of my good training partners. We always have back and forth battles, and watching that fight, I felt like, Michael Johnson was dominating that fight up until, Thiago dove in for a leg lock. So I definitely been working on leg lock defenses. And he gave me a couple pointers. And I do want to keep it on the feet, but, my jiu-jitsu is good. I'm not afraid to take him down, you know what I mean, score some points. And I'll take the fight wherever it goes. There's nothing in this fight that I'm too nervous about, like where it goes. So, I was really happy that, we had a teammate that fought him, so I get some pointers, and he definitely helped me out with some.
Cool. Thank you.
No worries.
All good? Perfect. Thank you very much. Thanks, sir. Finish. I'm just curious
Финиш
Ну, удачи есть
on getting this matchup. Anything about your life or your
внимание или нет как-то.
поставить.
Yeah,
Потом
I prefer to.
moment for you against a tough opponent?
Как ты себя в голове это представляешь, что это будут качели?
будет. И он, да, сначала не хотел.
Тренировки были в Сэнфорде.
Do you think that's going to be your permanent gym, or is it just kind of just a gym that you like to train at when you're in the States?
Как ты считаешь?
Мы думаем с командой. У меня еще в Казахстане есть команда, как бы с ними обсудим этот вопрос.
I don't know yet. The time will show. You know, I have a team back at home in Kazakhstan. Everything I do, I discuss with them. So we'll see.
And then you have a 100% finish rate. How important is it to you to keep that, or do you want to show the fans that you can go 15 minutes if need be?
У тебя 100% досрочных побед. Насколько для тебя важно сохранить эту статистику? Или ты хотел бы показать фанатам, что 3 раунда пройти всю дистанцию для тебя не проблема?
Я думаю, этот 3 раунда пройти меня не проблема, конечно. Но этот бой зависит от меня, от соперника. Я, конечно, самое главное, я как говорил, меня самый главный бой выиграть, а там уже будем смотреть.
Yeah, I think full distance is not a problem for me. And the most important is to get the win, and doesn't matter how.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good. Thank you.
Sorry about that. So, Adolfo, I guess we last saw you in July. You got your first UFC win. Talk to me about how important that was for your confidence to get that victory.
Are you talking about my last victory?
Yeah.
It was very, very good fight. I was feeling very confident, even after my last loss. But I fixed a lot of things that I was doing wrong, and I could get the win.
Nice. And then we were supposed to see you in January, but you had to withdraw, right? I guess, can you tell us what happened there?
Actually, I had a problem on my brain. Malformation. I don't know if it's the exactly word, but it's something that I was born with. So I didn't know it was serious or if it was something like normal. But after do the angiogram, the doctor said that I was going to be able to keep fighting, and that made me very happy because I was really afraid to have to retire.
I was going to say, so were you really thinking, like, maybe I'm done? This might be the end of my career?
Yes, of course. Actually, I was sure that I would have to stop. I was waiting for the worst, and thank God that it didn't happen, and I'm here
That's awesome.
I'm gonna fight next Saturday.
Has that changed, like, your mindset or the way you feel about your career, like knowing it was almost gone, and now you're continuing? Has that changed the way you feel about it?
No, I'm feeling the same way that I was feeling after all that issues, but yeah, the good part was that this issue made me realize how much I wanted to keep doing MMA, even with all the fear and anxious.
That's awesome. All right, so talk about Chris as an opponent. What do you think of him as a fighter?
Oh, Chris is a great opponent. Very dangerous strike. He's coming maybe 6 or 7 wins in a row. Man, he's tough. He's a monster, and it's gonna be an honor to share the cage with a guy like him. But I'm ready. It's gonna be he's striking against my jiu-jitsu. There's no secret.
You seem so relaxed right now, so comfortable. You know, in your fight weeks, is this the most comfortable you've ever been during a fight week?
No, actually, I'm not comfortable here. I'm very nervous. I hate giving interview, even in Portuguese. Imagine in English. So I'm glad to hear that I'm looking comfortable.
You're faking it very well.
I hope to do the same thing on Saturday.
Talk to me about this fight. I mean, is there something you want to prove? Do you feel like you need to prove anything? Or are you still kind of a white belt in MMA that you're just kind of learning and there's nothing to prove yet to anyone?
Sorry?
Do you feel like you have to prove things to people? Because you're still new in MMA, but you're so high level in grappling. Do you still feel like a white belt, I guess, in MMA? Or
No. Now I'm feeling a blue belt with no stripe. Maybe after if I beat Chris, 1 stripe. But yes, of course. As soon as I got into UFC, I had only 5 fights, and maybe 3 years of training. My first sparring, I was 27 years old when I did my first sparring. After that, only jiu-jitsu and wrestling, and that's my fifth fight in UFC, and I'm very happy. It's hard to get experience being inside the UFC. It's very hard. Inside the biggest event of the world, the biggest company where the best fighters are, but it is what it is.
The last thing for me, I guess, no secret, jiu-jitsu versus striking. So your prediction, is it a submission on your side?
Yes. Everyone knows that. Chris knows that. I know that. Everyone. He's gonna try to keep the fight standing, and I'm gonna try to use my jiu-jitsu, my wrestling.
Hey, Rodolfo. With you being one of the best grapplers walking the earth right now, who are some of the grapplers that you like to watch?
Any division?
Any division, jiu-jitsu, MMA, like who do you like to watch?
I'm gonna talk about my division. I like to watch Sergi Pano. He has been doing a great work. He just finished Jacaré, and oh my God, that was incredible. Even I didn't get happy with that, but he deserved that victory, and he's showing a very good jiu-jitsu. Who else? Now I can, like I said, I'm a little nervous, and I wasn't thinking about that answer.
Do you think you're going to have to fight Andre Muniz soon? Maybe not next, but in the future?
Sorry?
Do you think you're going to fight Andre in the future?
Maybe, but he's taller than me. He's gonna fight Uriah Hall. He's a top. I don't know if he's a. I think he's a top 15 already, and for me it's a big path yet to get there, and maybe one day it's gonna be a pleasure to fight him or to get the top 50. But my goal is to get the top 15 one day.
Cool. Thank you.
All good? Cool. Perfect. Thank you very much. All right, Sumar, obviously a very impressive not debut, a very impressive victory last time out. Did you feel any different last fight than you did in the debut?
Thank you so much. I'm feeling good, excited, and it was good training camp, and I think I'm ready.
Nice. The fight against Brian Kelleher, did you feel any different than you did in your first fight against Morozov?
You know, this is experience. Like after every your fight, you become to better. You're feeling better, and like I'm feeling like usually. Understand?
Yeah. Are there still a little bit of nerves, a little bit of?
Little bit. This is have all the time. You cannot not if you have like a feel, you have to nervous a little bit. But this is not. You know, you never know what's gonna be happen, and of course you have to like be ready. And I think I'm ready.
Nice. Fighting again just 3 months later after Brian Kelleher, was it important for you to fight quickly like that?
Yes, I hope I will fighting 2 more times in this year. I hope.
Is that something you can do throughout your career? Fight 4 times a year? Is that your goal?
Yes, I think. If you don't have injuries, why not? You can do this.
Nice. Nate Maness as an opponent, maybe not a big name, but a good record. What do you think of him as a fighter?
I think he's a tough fighter, and he have good boxing, good wrestling, good grappling, and we'll see. He's a good fighter. I'm feeling it's gonna be a good fight.
Yeah. You win here. Should you be in the rankings? It's a good division, man. But do you feel like you should already be in the rankings?
I think I'm ready for these guys, and I don't wanna push. Like if they give me like top 15, anybody, I'm ready. I know this. I can competition with these guys, and but I don't know. They put me after this fight or no.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. You know, people have big expectations for you because of your name and your undefeated record. How fast do you want to go to the top of the division? Is it a slow build, or do you want to get there quickly?
I want quickly, but we have to see how gonna be they put, because of this is his choice how they do.
Nice.
But I have to show my skills. I have to show how I can fight, good performance, and that's it. I have to my job. They have to their job.
What's your prediction for this fight? Do you think Nate will grapple with you, or do you think he'll want to stand?
Last 3 fights, he fighting like boxing. 2 guys he knock him out, 1 guy he win decision, and I think more he won boxing. I think strike.
Nice. Last question for me. How are you practicing your English? It's getting a lot better, right? What's the process?
Thank you so much. Javier Mendez working with us, teach us.
Hey, Umar, I just want to know, like, how frustrated were you when you got into the UFC and you couldn't fight, and then you only got 1 fight last year? How frustrating was that?
Каково было для тебя, когда тебя подписали в UFC, но ты потом получил травму и долго не дрался? Какие были чувства и как это вообще было?
Little bit hard question. Can I speak Russia? Конечно, был огорчен, но это составляющая именно вот боев, ММА, спорта, всего. Ты можешь быть травмирован, и ты должен быть к этому готов психологически, эмоционально. И я долгое время после подписания не мог подраться. Там травмы, ковид, турниры отменялись. Были много причин. Потом подрался и травмировался. Да, конечно, это было чуть тяжело, но, знаешь, когда у тебя есть цель, это легко. И ты знаешь, к чему ты идешь, для чего ты стараешься. Поэтому
Yes, it was really frustrating. I got signed to the UFC, and then I did my debut, and then for a long time I couldn't fight. It was very frustrating, but it's part of the sport. These things happen when you train hard. Injuries are part of the sport. But one thing that is different with me is I don't take time off. Even when I was injured, I was trying to do something, two trainings every day, at least go there, show up, learn something new. So when I got signed, I did my debut, and it was COVID. It was a bunch of other reasons, the injury, but I never let myself down. I kept training, and it is what it is.
Awesome. And then finally for me, who were some of your training partners for this camp?
it was a lot of guys from AK, good tough guys, and Leon, David, other guys. It was good training camp.
Awesome. Thank you.
Умар, приветствую. Вот ты после боя с Келлахером на эмоциях, видимо, сказал, что готов подраться хоть через неделю. А вот расскажи, были ли разговоры об этом после, или уже так, как бы тема ушла немножко после?
Али говорил, что можно вести переговоры, но там получилось так, что все улетали. Ну, знаешь, один оставался, и в углу не было бы никого. В связи с этим как-то решили растянуть и, ну, планы, как бы сказать, построили, решили подраться вот через 2 месяца, как получается. Там задолго до этого были у Хабиба были встречи, назначенные там пресс-конференции, у Ислама не получалось, там другие ребята, по-моему, выступали. И в связи с этим решили растянуть. Просто на тот момент, ну, я гонял вес на 65, слишком много не было скинуто, и быстро бой провел. Ну, в физическом и в эмоциональном, так, в психологическом, ну, в этих аспектах я бы мог подраться.
Вот ты, да, на прошлый бой гонял, получается, в 65-66 килограммов. Сейчас, по сути, твоя первая за 1,5 года сгонка в 61. Как ты себя чувствуешь вот на этом этапе, когда пару дней остается?
Чувствую себя хорошо. Даже, знаешь, хорошо, что я сгонял в прошлый раз на 65, потому что 2 раза на 61 гонять за 2 месяца это чуть тяжеловато тоже. И, ну, сгонка идет по плану, все хорошо. Да, я даже предыдущую сгонку опережаю в этот раз. Осталось меньше, чем, например, за 2 дня, чем в прошлый раз.
Доходил слух, что на твой бой может прилететь Хазбик. Насколько это, ну, рассматривался вариант и рассматривается ли он сейчас?
Нет, его в бою, я думаю, не будет. Может быть, он к следующим боям сможет прилететь, потому что виза нужна всегда в Америку, а на данном, ну, как я знаю, у него сейчас нет визы. Но я знаю, что UFC и они все вместе работают над его визой, чтобы его привезти сюда.
Спасибо.
Jump the gun. Obviously, a big moment for you right now. I guess talk about the emotions, the feelings right now ahead of this fight.
This was question?
Yeah.
Sorry, one more please because I didn't hear.
Yeah, it's just a big moment in your career, right? This is a big opportunity for you. So what's the feeling like for you right now?
Yeah, for sure. I feel great. This is my honor to fight first main event to UFC. big things, but I am in my prime now, not physical, but also mentality, and I am really go to truth to hell.
Yeah. Can you take time to like enjoy all this being in a main event, or can you not kind of think about how cool it is and just have to focus on the fight?
Now just focus to the fight, enjoy. I think it's gonna be after fight when I winning. Now just hard training, motivation, and focus to fight my next opponent.
It's taken a little less than 2 years since you came over, 4 fights. Is this about the path that you saw when you came to the UFC, that you'd be in a main event this soon?
One more question, please.
It's taken a little less than 2 years to get to a UFC main event since you came over. Is this about the schedule that you saw, the timeline that you saw?
I don't thinking about never like that. This my job is only step in the octagon, beat the guy, and step by step climb in the ranking and go to the top. But I think this is great time for me. Yes.
Nice. Arman, as an opponent, are you as excited about the fight as I think a lot of us are? Because on paper, this looks like a pretty amazing fight.
Yeah, I am so happy. Nobody won't fight with Arman. A lot of people scared him. Nobody fight with me, and we meet together in in the octagon. He's a great fighter, good striking, good jiu-jitsu, but weakness. Good striker, good wrestling, but I think weakness jiu-jitsu. I saw a lot of holes his game. I am more experienced guy in the 5 rounds. I'm used to pressure. I'm used to be the champion, and I think this is gonna be a great show in the Saturday night.
Have you been watching him knowing that, like, I'm going to fight that guy someday?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's a great fighter. We are a new generation in MMA. We are very close to top 10, and I know that in now or maybe the future we meet together for sure.
Yeah. Have you felt the attention to this fight? Because you guys might not be big names yet, but the hardcore MMA fans like love this matchup and can't wait for it. Have you felt that love for this fight?
I am here to challenge the best. Yeah, and I feel great.
Nice. You win here, you got to be talking top 10. I mean, are you looking at names yet? Are you looking at, here's who I deserve with a win? Are you thinking about that yet?
Doesn't matter who winning the Saturday night. I think the winners deserve top 5 next.
Nice. Last thing for me, the goal here, victory, yes, but in a main event, is it important to do something special, something that people remember, not just walk away with kind of a boring judge win?
I don't want to finish the fight too early. I wanna fight 5 rounds. This is gonna be 5 rounds violent, and probably this is gonna be the biggest test for me so far. But I am super ready for this guy, and if I see opportunity early, for sure I will take it.
Artuz. Were you surprised that the UFC matched up you and Arman so early into your UFC career?
One more, please.
Were you surprised that the UFC matched you and Arman up so soon?
No. I think this is gonna be for sure. Nobody will fight with Arman. Nobody will fight with me, and we meet together. I also know nobody give me chance this fight, but I am super ready, and I wanna step in the octagon and prove that I am different animal in the cage.
Are you surprised that you are the underdog? You were a KSW champion. You went 5 rounds multiple times, defended your champion multiple times, but people still see you as the underdog.
Yeah, this is more motivation for me. Nobody give me change like I say. I wanna shock the world. I go step octagon. I wanna show the best version, and that's it. I know. This is only big motivation for me. I for sure Arman is from here, train here. Every media is from here, and it's normal situation. But after Saturday night, every people change ideas.
Your teammate and countrywoman Joanna retired after her last fight. I just wanted your thoughts on her retirement.
Uh, I think this is great idea for Joanna. This is gonna be next chapter for her. But Joanna was superstar for many years in UFC. I think she deserves for everything what is the beautiful for life now.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I guess Alan, another fight week for you. How does it feel at this point? Any nerves, or is this just settled in at this point?
Une nouvelle fight week pour toi, Alan. Et comment est-ce que tu te sens? Un peu nerveux?
Yes, another fight week, but I feel very good. I'm here to do my job, and I'm in the very good forms. Yeah.
Can you talk about how you feel about your UFC run? Because you've had some great performances, but haven't necessarily got the results that you wanted. So how do you balance that?
Yeah, my road is very difficult for the first time, Thomas Pinal, but now it's very good in the ranking. And after a reverse with Rodrigo Nascimento, and for the last fight against Parker Porter, I feel very good. I think I win this fight, but in finale, no. But for the next, I'm very... comment on dit? Yes, I'm very confident. And, for my first time, I fight in the cage. And the last time, I every time grow up. And I'm very confident about that. And for the next fight, I show you a new Alan.
Nice. For this fight, a pretty quick turnaround from your last fight, I think like 4 months. Was that important to you to keep going?
Yes, it's very good. Keep going and don't stop. And I don't take a break. I'm back to France and let's go.
Nice.
Do a new camp.
I love it. What do you think about Josh as an opponent?
Josh, it's a very good deal for me today, but I want to fight in UFC Paris in the September 3rd. But I think Josh is a very good deal for me for pour briller, ouais. For shining, yeah. And maybe finish the fight.
Do you think maybe it's a good omen, a good sign that his last name is Parisian? Maybe that's good for you.
Yeah.
Does this feel, knowing that you want to fight in Paris, right? Does that add any like pressure or worries because you're like, I gotta win, I gotta stay healthy so that I can fight?
Yes, and I want to fight in Paris, but it's my country, it's my hometown, and I have a lot of fans, and I think it's the first time I fight. Maybe if I fight in Paris, all time I fight in the Apex with no people, no supporter, no fans, and I'm an action fighter. But I think I need more sound in the place.
I know you feel confident, so I guess what kind of fight do you think we see here? Is this going to be a long fight? Do you think you can win early? What kind of fight do we see?
I don't care. I work for all plane about wrestling, about striking, about ground. I just want to finish. First round, second round, third round, all it's good.
Nice. Last thing for me, any names of opponents that make sense in Paris, or does it matter at all? You just got to fight in Paris.
No, any people, just UFC Paris.
Alan, were you surprised that the UFC didn't put you on UFC Paris and you're fighting in Vegas first?
Est-ce que t'es étonné de ne pas être sur l'UFC Paris, d'être avant sur l'UFC Vegas?
No, I think I need to take more experience all time, and it's very good for me to fight Saturday and maybe after Paris and do a longer run about all years.
How excited are you that the UFC is going to Paris?
It's very good. You know, in France, the game changed. France have a lot of good fighter, good fans. And when you work with Cyril, all people, I want a picture. Yeah, the game changed in France about fight, about MMA. But I think it's a very good deal for UFC, for France, and for MMA fans.
Speaking of UFC Paris, Cyril's fighting Tai Tuivasa. I just wanted your thoughts on that matchup.
Tai Tuivasa, it's good guys, strong power shot. But Cyril do many times for the same style, like Rosenstruck, like Derek Lewis, and it's I think for Cyril it's easy, but about Derek Lewis, Rosenstruck, and Tai Tuivasa, for me, for the three guys, I think Tai Tuivasa it's more stronger about power shot, but maybe more comment dire, more dangerous.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Neil, man, is there like any evaluation process at all when an opponent is offered up? I mean, is there any discussion at all, or is it just like, yeah, you know we're in?
None at all. I mean, in all reality, there is some like hopes and thoughts of like fighting up in the rankings and that kind of thing. Like, of course, everyone wants to fight a higher ranked opponent each time, but if that's not available, I don't want to sit around for 6, 8, 10 months waiting for the perfect opponent. So if the next best guy is in rank number 15, and so be it. I'll go out there and make the best of the opportunity.
Where do you think that comes from? I mean, is that a lesson you've learned in your career? Because it does seem like what you said. There's a lot of people, they're like, well, I'm only fighting up, or I'm waiting for this fight. I mean, is this a lesson you learned, or just something within you?
Yeah, I mean, just throughout the years, I mean, I can't take my fights for granted anymore. I mean, there's been a year where I had a career-threatening injury that sidelined me for 9 months, and then I had a whole USADA situation that took me out for 18 months. So for me, it's just going out there making the best of opportunities and not necessarily waiting for the perfect moment to present itself. If it's number 15, I'll make the best with that. If it's number 5, I'll make the best of that. But I'm not sitting around taking things for granted, waiting for that perfect opportunity.
Yeah, I love that. Quick turnaround here. Is that ideal for you, or is it kind of challenging to like get ready in that short of time?
No, this is great. I mean, I love the quick turnaround. Like I said, I do not like the long layoffs in between training camp. I'm not one of those guys that like wins a fight, loses a fight, and just like disappears from the gym for a few months. If I win a fight, I'm right back in the gym on Monday talking to my coaches about what I could have done better, where I can improve, and things like that. So to get a quick turnaround like this, I'm excited for it. I mean, I took a lot of things away from the Max Griffin fight that I can apply to this fight right away. So I definitely feel more than ready for this fight on Saturday.
I dig it. I mean, you know, Shavkat's getting all the attention. He's the new guy. I mean, but you fought everybody. I mean, when you look at this guy's skills, where does he stack up? I mean, is he as good as everybody thinks he is, or is he just another guy?
I mean, literally every last one of us who fight for UFC were undefeated at some point or another. Then you went out there and faced an absolute beast, and was like, oh damn, there's definitely levels to this. And I look at Shavkat, and I think the exact same thing. I mean, the guy is talented. He is 15-0. You don't get to be 15-0 by accident. You definitely have to do some really great things consistently in order to get to that record. But at the same time, it's like he hasn't fought a seasoned vet like me. He hasn't fought the guys that I fought yet. So for me to go out there on Saturday night and show him that there's levels to this game is going to be my goal.
Nice. Knowing that you'll basically take any fight because you'll fight. I mean, are there goals like you went here? I mean, are you looking at certain names or certain opportunities, or do you even worry about that stuff?
Ideally, I would love to have a top 5 opponent after this fight. I mean, that's the way it should go. You out there have a great performance, you get a high-ranked opponent. That's how it should go. But the reality of it is, things don't always go as they should. And with that being the case, if I get stuck fighting number 6 guy, number 7 guy, whoever it may be, I'm going to go out there and keep moving forward towards my goal. Like, I do not care what it takes to become champion. I'll do whatever it takes.
I love it. All that said, I guess last question. I mean, what kind of fight do you think we see? This guy has been very, very dominant, very explosive. I mean, do you think this is a fight that unfolds quickly, or is this something where maybe you're better off dragging him to deep waters?
Oh, it's going to be a very dominant fight. It just won't be him dominating. Like, I'm planning to go out there and dominate this fight from beginning to end. And I can't wait to go out there and make it exciting for the fans.
Hey, Neil.
Hey.
Over to your...
Oh, sorry.
Your son came early, 6 weeks early. Was that I mean, were you nervous? Like that would it would interrupt fight camp? Like what's that? Like what was that?
So at first it is nerve-wracking when you hear your child's gonna be born premature. You're worried about like all of the health concerns that can come with that. But immediately out of the womb, he was doing great. Like they put him on oxygen for like the first 5 minutes, and he pulled it off. And then the doctors came in and said that he didn't need it because he was breathing fine on his own. So he just had to stay in the NICU for 2 weeks to get his weight up. But other than that, he was doing great. Him showing up early ended up being a blessing in disguise. He was scheduled my wife was scheduled to have a C-section on the 21st, which was yesterday. So I literally went from the hospital straight to the airport to come here for fight week. So the fact that he came early was literally a blessing in disguise. She was able to have him naturally because he was a lot smaller than his brother, so she didn't need to have a C-section. She was able to recover rather quickly from giving birth, and he's doing just fine. So it all worked out for the great good.
Congrats on that.
Thank you.
I just wanted to talk about Hamzat, man. How frustrating is it that like he's like, no one will fight me, but you've been calling his name for like a year now?
At the end of the day, just have to take it for what it is. I mean, right now it's like as much as important it is to go out there and fight well and train hard and that kind of stuff. Marketing is equally as important. So if he needs to play the boogeyman in order to like promote his career and get to where he's trying to go, I can't necessarily fault him for that. But I know I did everything within my power to go out there and give him the fight that he was asking for.
And then with Shavkat, man, so like he's this phenom. Was there any thought in your brain where like, yeah, maybe let's skip this one, or was it just like, I'll fight anybody?
No, not at all. I mean, I'm here to fight the best guys in the world. I mean, especially with the landscape of mixed martial arts changing, the landscape of combat sports changing, where we're not necessarily seeing the best against the best. We're seeing the most marketable against the most marketable. For me, fighting Shavkat is fighting one of the best up-and-comers out there. So I'm ready to go out there and test myself against him and show why I deserve fighting a top 5 opponent and eventually fight for a title.
And finally for me, who originally gave you your nickname?
Yeah, so I decided to go with the Haitian Sensation nickname. It was something that's been thrown around for a while, but I decided to go with that nickname, particularly after doing a mission trip to Haiti. One of the things that I noticed when I would go out there is that all the missionaries that would work within Haiti, they all gravitate towards the young, innocent children. It's like, oh yeah, 3-year-old orphan. Like, of course, I want to like give this child the world and support them and do whatever they can for them. But as these kids get older, as they start to age out of orphanages and they start like becoming young adults, like 16, 17, 18 years old, there's not many people who are willing to go out there and like support them, whether it's like going through trade school, college, whatever else it may be. And so for some of these kids, they kind of like, they don't have a vision for themselves. They don't have a goal for themselves. They kind of like had this cap, like, okay, great, I had someone to care for me from birth up until now, but where's my life go from here? And going with the Haitian Sensation nickname is more so to inspire those kids to kind of dream big and go for whatever you want to do. So if you want to be an engineer, doctor, athlete, whatever it may be, go for it. Just chase whatever you can do. So you can see me, another Haitian athlete out there doing the best you can. There's no doubt in my mind you go out there and do the same for yourself. So that's kind of why I chose that name.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
And good luck.
Thank you.
I know. Down in.
Now it's you.
I feel like you have this reputation where when there's a young guy coming up the rankings and then you get booked against them, all the fans are kind of like, oh, well, now we finally get to see if this guy's legit or not. You're like the tester of that. Do you like that reputation, or do you think it kind of puts you in a spot where, oh, everyone's just seeing if people can walk over me?
No, I mean, I feel like being put in that spot, I've proven myself time and time again, like, hey, I'm not that guy. If you think I'm the guy that you're going to, like, make a name off of or, like, leapfrog off of, that is absolutely not me. If you're looking for a guy that's going to go out there, give you a tough fight, give you a run for money, bring out the best of you, that's absolutely me. So I don't necessarily fear getting labeled as the quote-unquote gatekeeper or the guy that's, like, a stepping stone for up-and-coming guys. I know the kind of athlete I am. I know the kind of danger I pose to my opponents. So it doesn't worry me at all being labeled as the quote-unquote gatekeeper.
I'm curious what you think, because obviously there are comparisons made between Shavkat and Khamzat, right? Shavkat thinks he should be sort of getting the press that Khamzat is. From the outside perspective, who do you think is the better one out of those two guys?
Both guys are great athletes. There's no denying what these guys have done throughout their careers. But you see them go get, like the Khamzat fight against Gilbert Burns, a perfect example of it. Like, he went from absorbing 3 shots in 3 fights over the course of your first 3 fights in UFC to literally getting beat up for three rounds against this guy like Gilbert Burns. So in my opinion, these guys are great athletes, but when you face other great athletes or experienced veterans like myself or Gilbert Burns, it's a whole nother playing field.
Do you think that's where there's some disconnect between the fans and media and actual fighters, where we all love to get on these hype trains and most of the fighters are like, going, no, it doesn't count until you beat someone that counts?
That's how it should be. I mean, like, but the thing that makes it difficult is, like, it's not the olden days of UFC where we had like a tournament format or anything like that. So a lot of things, it comes down as marketing. So if you're basing it off of someone's following or a 30-second clip of what this person can do, like, of course, the general audience is like, oh my God, this guy's great. Look what he just did in 30 seconds. But the reality of it is there's so much more to a fight game than highlights or whatever. So, yeah, I'm here for longevity.
Thanks, man.
So I just want to follow up real quick. I've never heard you talk about marketing as much as I have heard you today. Is that like kind of a new revelation? Like, damn, I thought I could just fight everybody and that'd get me up. Now I realize, no, I got to market myself a little.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one of the things that I have to accept as the sport changes. Like, I can't be the guy complaining like, oh, boo-hoo, poor me, I didn't get a title shot. I have to realize that the game has evolved and the game has changed. Like, not only do I have to go out there and win fights, I have to do it impressively and I have to be marketable as well. So understanding where the game is going, I do need to put a little more focus in that, in addition to spending all the time in the gym as well.
So you said that your newborn was able to get off oxygen even while in the NICU. So you're saying he's inherited the cardio from you already, right?
Immediately, he's been blessed with great lungs and some strong resilience. Like the fact that he pulled that oxygen off so quick, I'm like, yeah, that's my boy. Let's go.
That's all. Well, I mean, I think a lot of fighters, you go in and you're getting in fights. You have a lot of people have the pressure of the fight weeks and there's all that other stuff. But when you face something like that, does that kind of put it all in perspective when you deal with a fight week and the pressures, knowing that there's real life stuff, with family that kind of
100%. I mean, like the things I've survived throughout my life, the things I've endured throughout my life, fight week is the easiest thing I get to do. I get to lock myself in a cage for 15, 25 minutes in a sanctioned fight. That is by far one of the easiest things I ever had to do in my life. I'm not in war. I'm not at the hospital in NICU hoping that my son makes it through. I'm not losing the most important people in my life. I'm not doing any of that stuff. So the fact that I get to go out there and do what I love for 15, 25 minutes, like that is literally the most stress-relieving thing I can do in the world.
It's awesome. Well, I'm glad he's healthy and mom's healthy as well. I'll give you a chance to market. What are those kicks that you're wearing there?
Am I allowed to say they're Jordan 1s or when I get fined by?
I don't care. I think they're pretty badass.
Good question. I'm gonna get fined for marketing these kicks here.
They're dope. That's why I just want to give you a chance to throw that out there. Like you said, you've been kind of have this rush to want to get in there and fight and get back in the cage. Now, is that partially because, we see a lot of fighters as they go on and as they get more fights, they almost want to take better care of their body, unless they're rushing to get done by a certain time. Is there a time frame that you're working towards that you want to get a certain amount of fights by a certain amount of time, or is it just that you want to stay active?
No, the gold is the gold. Gold is the goal. Like for me, is getting up there, become UFC champion. Like I want to exhaust literally every single opportunity to get there and become a champion. So if it means I have to fight 8 times a year, sign me up. I'm ready to go out there and do it. I don't necessarily look at like, I have to get 8 fights in before I'm 34, 38, or whatever it may be. I look at guys like Glover Teixeira, who's able to become UFC champion at 42, and for me, that gives me hope. That's like, hey, you have 6 to 8 good years left in you. Go out there and make the best of it. So I definitely have no doubt I can be UFC champion. For me, it's about like, how do I make it happen and how do I get there?
Is that kind of what the whole like, John brought up about the marketing and spinning and kind of really doing that sort of thing? Is that kind of what an added twist that you've added to your game as well? It's one thing to go into the gym, but you feel that now you have to, really focus on the business side and the promotion side as well?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's definitely a part of the game that has evolved over the last couple of years. And if I'm being honest with myself, it's something I never paid attention to. I was just like, just keep beating people up and things will work out. And it just hasn't worked out the way I thought it had. So it's definitely a piece I have to focus on more as I move forward in my career now.
And I know, last one for me, I know a lot of fighters like to visualize and sort of see their future, and work towards that future. So when you have visualized and everything lines itself out, when can you see yourself being the champ? When have you set that goal for yourself?
Realistically, for me, like I'm getting a top 5 opponent before the year is over with, and I'm fighting for a title early next year. That's how I see it playing on my mind. Unless something crazy happens, someone falls out the week of, and like, hey, we need someone to replace someone for a title fight, a day's notice, who can we call? And I'm right there like, all right, sign me up for a good time. I'm ready to go. Unless something crazy like that happens, I see myself trying for a title early next year, late this year.
That's awesome. Best of luck.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, you guys all done?
Yep.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I hope you don't get fined. That's all right. We were just repping nights just a second ago. Doper than any fucking shit shoes that they got.
Chris, you got the 7-fight win streak, I believe, 2-0 in the UFC. I mean, what's the feel like for you right now after all this time to be on this run that you're in right now?
It feels great. Oh shit! I guess I should pick up the mic, shouldn't I? it feels great. Besides the fact that, like, yeah, we're going to punish you by giving you the next biggest guy in the division. Like, I get Phil Halls, who's already like giant, and I'm like, oh, he's an even slightly bigger man. I'm like, thanks, guys. Like, could have been way smaller people for me to fight. So thanks, guys.
That's funny. How do you see your career right now? Like, do you fight with a chip on your shoulder, thinking like, why the hell did I have to wait so long to get here? Or are you kind of just trying to, enjoy the moment and be like, hey, man, the persistence paid off?
I just gotta not have a chip on my shoulder, man. I think I fought a long, long time with a chip on my shoulder, and unfortunately, it makes you do dumb shit, make dumb decisions in the fight. So at this point, I'm just trying to enjoy the fact that I'm here, and I've got more experience than most. I might as well just put the good use. That chip, it does suck, but at the same time, it's giving me an advantage, I feel like, against most people. That it took me a long time to get here. I've had a lot of fights. I've had a lot of things go my way. Have a lot of things not go my way. So I got here late, but at least I got here experienced.
Nice. April, we were supposed to see you then. We didn't get a chance. I guess, can you lay out what all happened there?
Oh, yeah. Was it like 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out? One of my last sparring days. Not doing anything weird. Like, I threw a body shot, and my sparring partner, Greg, happened to throw a kick. And he just shattered my wrist like kindling. Yeah, man, he fractured it in 2 places. So I was like, okay, it'll be good to fight, right? And the doctor's like, no, it's not going to be good to fight. And we were trying to convince him that it'd be okay. Like, it'll be fine. And he's like, that's not how bones work. So it's very unfortunate.
So a pretty quick turnaround then. So, I mean, are there any lasting, like, what did you have to put it in a cast, or, I mean, how did it go?
There were two 4-millimeter fractures, but they weren't really that bad. Like, they didn't break. It didn't need a surgery or anything. So just like, yeah, stay off of it. Which, don't train for a few weeks. It'll be fine. So naturally, I trained the next day, and I never stopped training. So it's been a little achy, but it's finally to a point now where it's good. Like, I can throw punches. I had a few weeks to where it was just kind of useless. Boxing one-handed, I'm wrestling one-handed, doing jiu-jitsu one-handed, but it's finally to the point now where it's good and it feels good enough to hit people with, so let's go.
Nice. Talk about prepping for a specialist like Adolfo, right? I mean, no, it's not like there's any secret what his game plan is or what his skill set is. So what's it like preparing for a guy like that?
I've reached a point in my career now where I fought a lot of different people, a lot of different things, and I kind of realized that whenever I prepare for somebody specifically, I tend to fail miserably. My jaunt in PFL taught me the pitfalls of preparing for something that may or may not happen or someone may be different. So really, instead of worrying about how great he is on the ground, I accept right away. I'm never gonna beat Rodolfo Vieira on the ground. I get a Rodolfo Vieira. Maybe I can get a weird fluffy submission, but I'm not going to bank on that. Like, I'm not going to out-grapple him. So my camp has been really close to being the same thing, man. Every fight camp, it's polishing my hands, polishing my stand-up, and improving my wrestling every time. I've got, one submission loss in 30-something fights. I'm not known as a grappler, but I'm not really a grappler, but I'm a damn good counter grappler. I can protect myself and not many people being able to choke me. So, we bank on that. We tune that up a little bit. But it's the same camp as everything. Like, work on your punching, work on your wrestling. I think, like I said, I'm never going to just be a better grappler than the guy whose nickname is the Black Belt Hunter. So it comes down to who's the better wrestler.
Do you think that comes from your fighting experience or just your humbleness as a guy? Because here's what. A lot of guys in your position, they'll be like, hey, man, my jiu-jitsu's pretty good, too.
Fuck no. There's no way. They're going to be like, people are like, oh, you think you can grapple him? I'm like, no. His nickname is the Black Belt. Like, why would why would that ever be part of the game plan? I love the internet thinks I'm stupid, too. They're like, I always get, messages on Twitter, like, hey, man, just don't go to the ground with him. And I'm like, I never would have considered this to be, my path to victory. Thank you, wise sir. No, come on. I got 36 fights, 34 fights, something like that. I've been doing this a long time. I'm very self-aware of where I am good at, where I'm bad at, and where I can hold my own. At no point in time is prolonged grappling exchange is going to be part of my plan here. It's just not a thing. No.
So when people hit you up with advice like that, do you hit them back have you thought about coaching full time?
I'm always that's fucking sage advice, bro. I went into this okay, I'm over here doing guard passing stuff, and I'm working on my X guard. You're you know what? Maybe I shouldn't grapple. Fuck am I doing?
All right, Win here, man. You keep the streak going. Do you have goals in terms of names or what you expect or what you want, or is it still just kind of that settling in time in your UFC career?
assuming all goes well and I don't get strangled in this fight, there's like names I do want, but everybody's like, oh, who are you calling out, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, man, I'm 34. It took me a long time to get here. I'll be 35 next month, actually. Like, I'm getting old. So I can either try to go up the ladder and whatever. If they offer me new contracts, I'll fight anybody. I don't care. Like, there's very few people I won't fight. And those are more so people I train with every day. But they offer me a new contract, I'll fight anyone, anywhere if their money's right. If the money's not great or a new contract, I'm trying to go backwards. Like, I want to go beat up Joseph Holmes still. Like, nothing, he didn't do anything wrong to me, but he beat my teammate. So, like, I'm on my revengeance tour. I want to fight Joseph Holmes. I want to fight Dusko because he beat my teammate. I want to beat up Brian Battle. Nothing personal to Brian Battle. Everybody says he's a really nice guy, and I can respect that. But I feel like I got snubbed for Ultimate Fighter for like the third time in a row. So I just want to prove that I should have been the Ultimate Fighter. And like, so he's going to see this and be like, what the hell did I do to you? It's nothing at all, man. It's not you. I have a weird chip on my other shoulder about being snubbed for shit. So I want to fight contender winners. I just want to go ace like a big list of contender guys to show that I should have been signed. Like, I am petty as hell. Like, my other nickname is King Petty, and like, this is the shit I think about at night.
I love it. Last thing for me, as you said, it's no surprise. It's going to be your striking against his jiu-jitsu, right? So knowing that, what type of fight do you think we see? Like, is this a little bit more, maybe a little bit more tactical, a little bit more moderately paced because you have to be careful of the grappling exchanges? Or do you still go out there and be the guy that you are, the exciting fighter that you are?
I have to go out there and be me, man. Like, once again, PFL taught me a valuable lesson in trying to fight a way that's not conducive to the way I think and the way I feel and react. And you can have a smart fight, which is fine, but at the end of the day, if I'm just sitting there waiting, not wanting to engage, he's probably just going to run me over anyway. So I just got to go out there, trust my wrestling, trust the work we put in, and just take it to him. Like, that's the way I win this fight. Is I can't hang back and just let him, rest. I got to go out there, put it on him, take it to him. So, I'm either going to win spectacularly or I'm going to fail spectacularly. But either way, I'm going to go out there doing it as me.
Hey, Chris. With a new contract, are you going to do Chris King Petty Curtis? I mean, new nickname?
No, it's anyone that knows me just knows that I am King Petty, man. It's one of my myriad of nicknames where I spend way too much time thinking about useless petty shit. And they're just like, why do you even think about this? I'm like, I don't know, man. I blame my mom. Like, my mom's a really petty woman as well, so that's who I got it from. Oh, my mom's Queen Petty. Actually, she's Empress Petty, as I call her. Like, yeah, she knows it too. So I inherited it from my mom. I'm just this way. I don't know.
What's up with everybody dissing Nickelback?
Bro, Nickelback did nothing wrong, and I don't care who you are. Like they suck. Like, sure, a lot of bands suck, okay? Like, they get far more hate than anyone because it's cool. And I figured it out. You know why everybody hates Nickelback? Because there was a time when people my age, maybe a little bit older, were going through some shit in high school. Your girl dumped you. Your parents didn't understand you. Nickelback was there for you. And you don't want to be reminded of that person you were when you were at your lowest. That's where the hate comes from.
It's totally understandable. A couple weeks ago, you said that you told me that you weren't living paycheck to paycheck anymore, man. And I just wanted you kind of to expand on that. Like how does that feel?
So I've been a pro for 13 years, somebody told me today, which is weird to think about. So I've been a pro for 13 years, which means I've been living paycheck to paycheck or less than paycheck to paycheck for about 15 years now, before this. And that sucked, man, especially when you have like a kid and everything, you're trying to like start a family, and it's a stressful situation to know that, you can't be the one to be counted on to provide things. You go out there and you bust your ass, you win fights, you make $2,000 and it gets eaten by bills before you even get home. So now the first time in my life, like, I don't have to check my bank account every day. Like, I know that if my son needs anything, it's fine. My son wants anything, it's fine. Like, he abuses this more than I do. Like, I live pretty poor. I don't really want anything. So my son abuses the hell out of it. He's like, so, Dad, I miss you. I'm like, what do you want? He's like, all right, I want, this game came out. Like, I'm like, okay, fine. But he abuses it more than I do. But it's nice being able to know that my bills are paid. I'm not going to worry about being homeless, and that, my people in my family and my people I love can rely on me finally to put my part in. So it's a long time coming, man. I think the biggest thing is for me, there's a lot of people who aren't in my life anymore that were there for during the come up that aren't there for whatever reason. Sometimes it's their fault. A lot of times it's my fault that I don't get to pay back. And there's a lot of people who will never speak to me again for various reasons. It's probably my fault that I'll never get to pay back and show my gratitude. So that sucks, but it's nice to know that in this position, if for whatever reason they ever reached out to me, I'd be able to be there for them.
And is that like even more of a chip on your shoulder? Like you could have been here during your Contender Series fight, like right? Like so, like you had to spend that much time grinding on the regional scene. So like, is that even more of a chip on your shoulder?
You would think yes, but at the same time, like the more I thought about this a lot. Actually, it's something like it's crossed my mind a whole lot. You think about it, and had I been signed after Contenders, I don't know where I'd be right now because from post Contenders, I went through a lot of stuff. A lot of things happened in my personal life. A lot of things happened in my professional life. Had some really high moments fighting, and then some my only like losing streak to date, and that was a low moment. But I think from all of that, I've grown, I've learned, I've become a better fighter, become a better athlete, just a person, and I don't know, man. Maybe I would have got signed and fucking got stomped out immediately. Like, who knows, man? Like, so I tried to think about it. Like, it's one of those things that just keep me up at night. But now I just convinced myself I would have been signed, and then they'll be like, hey, by the way, go fight young up and coming Kamaru Usman, and then I got my ass kicked. So maybe it worked out for the best. I have to believe that.
And then finally, for me, fantastic beard. When are we going to start talking about Chris Curtis having the best beard in the UFC?
So I need to like, actually like comb this out because I just got it trimmed up. But if you guys can see it, it's literally like another 2 inches of beard length here. So I need to straighten it out for the fight because I'll give it. Julian Marquez has a beautiful beard, and I hate him for it. Absolutely hate him for it. He knows that like I have beard envy. So I need to like show up on fight night with just this beautiful combed out beard, like gloss, like just glistening, because I absolutely hate Julian Marquez for his beard. That dude has a beautiful beard. Like it's manicured. It's very like he's got like moisturizers in it. I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. Like,
Thanks, Chris.
That's King Petty right there.
I can't. I don't know why I'm this way. I really don't. I wish I did. Thanks, guys. I don't mean to be.
I know you kind of quietly put together a nice little record in the UFC so far, man. I guess how do you feel about the run?
I feel good about it, man. All you can do is ask for a win. However you can get there, it's good for me.
Very nice. Then they give you this matchup, right? The undefeated. I mean, not that your record isn't quite impressive as well, but, this is the guy with the family name and all that. I mean, what were your thoughts when this was a matchup given to you?
Oh, man, I was excited. I know he's ranked 18, something like that, so it's a big jump ahead of where I am. And if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, the fights only get harder, so I'm excited about it.
I mean, you fought some talented guys already in your career, right? What do you think about Umar? I mean, does he stack up to those guys? Is he the toughest test so far, or is this just another guy?
I'll let you know the 26th. Yeah, man, he's great. I don't think anybody can watch him and say that he's not great. The odds show a little bit disrespectful towards my side, I think, just because of that last name. I'm coming to fight. And he's great, man, but these are the fights that I want. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, they only get harder and you only fight better guys.
It's kind of funny because you mentioned the odds like that. It definitely has something to do with his name, I think, over just – but does that kind of put a little chip on your shoulder like, oh, people still don't know who I am?
I think it's good for my friends, man. They've made all kinds of money since I've been in the UFC, so it's all good.
Talk about preparation for this one, knowing it is a big fight, knowing it is, a good opponent. I mean, was there any change in how you prepared, or was this business as usual?
Yeah, we brought in some wrestlers, obviously. He's a great grappler. Other than that, man, I've stayed at my 2 home gyms the whole time, my whole career. Business as usual, just coming in here prepared and ready.
You can certainly have a solid grappling game as well. I mean, is this a place where you feel like that's where this fight is going to have to play out, or do you think it's like, hey, we're better served and we try to keep this on the feet?
Yeah, I'd love to come in there and just strike with him, for sure. But he's going to shoot at some point, and, I'm prepared to stop that shot. And I've gotten a takedown in every UFC fight that I've had, too, so I'd like to keep him guessing in there.
Does this feel like a moment that could be like kind of a breakout moment? Like I said, you've got an impressive career record, impressive UFC record, but I don't hear a lot of people talking yet. You win here, I got to think people will be. Is that the way you see it as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. I think a win over any Nurmagomedov is going to do great things for you. It's the last name. But, yeah, man, I hope to break into the top 15 with this fight. I know me and Adrian Yanez have had some going back and forth, and he's broke into the top 15, so that's definitely something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, he mentioned the name, right? You think that's the matchup that needs to come next?
I called for him a year and a half ago. He didn't call me out. I called him out.
I like it. Last thing for me then, I guess. I mean, on paper, this looks like it should be a fun fight. Is that what you're expected to? I mean, is this going to be kind of a back-and-forth battle, or do you think you can go dominate? What kind of fight do you think we see?
Yeah, man, I think it's going to be a war. I think he's going to come in here and do what he does. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm a tough guy. I can stand in the middle and throw. I think it's going to be exciting, like most of my fights have been.
Hey, Nate. What do you think of Adrian Yanez's win last weekend?
I think he looks good every fight. I'm a fan. I love to watch him fight. I like his style. I think he'll stand right in the middle with me, and we'll put on a show.
He kind of already he said he wants to fight you. You want to fight him. So, I mean, is that like the most logical fight if you get past Umar?
Yeah. Obviously Umar first. But, yeah, I called him out a long time ago. We've went back and forth for a year and a half now. Yeah, let's do it.
So you broke your jaw in the Gravely fight, and then you came back and did media afterwards. When did you figure out that your jaw was broken?
When I tried to eat a slice of pizza and I couldn't open my mouth. It's pretty crazy that I did a lot of talking and yelling and things like that after, and it just slowly kind of exploded on the side of my head, man. I don't know.
That's wild. What kind of pizza was it?
It was just a regular pepperoni. I mean, everything is good after a fight.
So tell me about that. So you're eating pizza, you feel your jaw, and then what do you do next?
Yeah, I actually thought it was my wisdom teeth because they were kind of moving around in there. So I tried to eat a slice of pizza. I couldn't open my mouth at all. I couldn't chew at all. So we went to the ER right after that, and turns out it was broke.
That is insane. Finally, for me, you kind of already touched on it, but you're a big underdog, and do you think that's just because of his name and people just don't know your name, or like what is that?
I think it's a mixture of that, and I mean, he's great. He's a great fighter. I don't have too many bad things to say about Umar. That's why I'm excited for this fight. It's all reward from here. I'm here to throw down. I'm here to earn my respect and come out with a win.
Thank you.
Well, Thiago, I guess just talk about maybe the last two fights, right? Frustrating, but against very, very talented guys that you were against. So I guess what are your thoughts after the two setbacks?
You know, I learned a lot from those fights. You know, especially with Islam. You know, I think I gave him a hard fight, especially if you see his last fights against Bobby Green and Dan Hooker. You know that he finished easily. You know, so I think I have a lot of potential. Just keep getting better, keep improving. I'm very young also. You know, so I think. Yeah, I think that's the way, you know, just keep improving, keep getting better, you know, and keep fighting. And my last fight, I think what I did wrong was about didn't follow the game plan, you know, like look for the takedown and work my grappling because the guy was so tall. So it's hard to punch like it is, you know, so. So that's what I learned from those fights, you know. So I think it made me a better fighter.
Nice. And then 7 months off or so, I think, since. Was that by design? Did you want some extra time away, or was it just the way the schedule worked out?
I think just the way the schedule worked out, you know, for the UFC. So I'm always training. Like, after this fight, I'm going to, like, take a week off, and I'll be right back to the gym. So I want to get back soon as soon as possible.
Nice. So when you have some time away, and you're training, do you focus specifically on like what you learned in those fights? I mean, you'll probably never face a guy that tall again in your life, but I mean, do you focus on the lessons that you learned there?
Yes, I focus on that also, but I try to improve like every aspect of the game, you know, like wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and striking. That's what I try to focus on the most, you know, like just getting better everywhere, every day, you know. But in the ATT, it's impossible to not get better, you know. You go so many good guys, you know, and everybody teaches you different stuff, and the coaches you just get better every day.
Like you said, two talented guys, two very unique guys that you fought the last two times out. But is it difficult to remain positive or to remain confident, to know how good you are? Do you have to like kind of check with yourself, or is it easy to believe in yourself still?
No, I believe in myself. I know how good I am, and I can't wait to go there and show the work that I have been putting those months.
Talk about Christoph as an opponent. What do you think about him as a fighter and how you match up?
I think it's a really good matchup. He's very tough. He had been there with one of the best in the world also. You know, he fought like great names, and he's very well rounded. He can fight on the ground, and he can strike also. Yeah, I think it's a tough fight, but I see me here winning this fight everywhere.
Are you expecting it to be a tough battle, though? Because like you said, you both have fought some very, very talented guys. So are you expecting it to be a kind of a war?
Yeah, I expect it to be a tough battle, and I'm ready for a war for 15 minutes.
Last thing for me, the goal here, obviously a win, but is it a win to maybe silence some people that maybe are doubting you after two losses, or is it to prove anything to anybody or to yourself, or is this just about getting a win?
You know, I'm just focused on getting a win. You know, I don't think if I focus on that, it's gonna help me win this fight. So my focus is just gonna go there, perform, give my best, and get back on track. You know.
Hey, Thiago. Grant Dawson's here with you, and I just wanted your thoughts on him joining the American Top Team and how much of an asset he is now.
No, he was a great addition to the team. You know, he has been a great training partner and a great friend also. So he was there for me like every training session, everything that I needed. He helped me get ready for this fight. So. Yeah, it was great, and it's gonna be great to have him also with my corner on Saturday, so we can win, celebrate, and get back training on Monday.
Awesome. And then finally, I just wanted your thoughts on the main event between Arman and Gamrot. I know that Gamrot trains at American Top Team. Arman was there a little bit. I just want your thoughts on the matchup.
You know, I think I'm very excited for this match. You know, I think it's gonna be a great matchup. I trained with both guys. You know. I trained more with Mateus Arman. I trained him also, but a few times. I think it's a pretty even match, you know. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see that. I think Arman could control, you know, use his wrestling to control, but Mateus also, he's a really good wrestler, and he has great submission, so he could use that to win the fight also. So I think it's a pretty even match.
Were you surprised to know that Gamrot is such a big underdog against Arman?
No, I didn't know that. He's a big underdog.
He's like a plus 200, plus 300 right now.
That's a lot. In my opinion, I see this as pretty even match.
Thank you.
Good.
русском будешь спрашивать или на английском?
Well, Armand, obviously a big fight, you know, main event, tough opponent. I guess what's the feel like for you right now?
I feel very great. I'm very excited to this fight. You know, it's my first main event, and I'm happy to be here.
How have you felt the idea of the main event so far? Has it been pressure? Has it been bothersome, the number of interviews, or have you liked it?
Yeah, I very like it. You know, I like your interview too, and you know, main event is a little bit different. You know, and yeah, I'm so happy to be in main event because it kind of was my dream. You know, when I get in UFC.
I know ultimately your dream is to be a champion, right? But
Yeah,
does
sure.
this feel like a big moment though, like a special achievement or a special level in your career?
Yeah, for sure. After this fight, when I win this fight, after this fight, it's gonna be very different. You know, everybody gonna talk about me. You know, after this fight, I'm gonna be contender.
You've had a nice win streak, but the last two victories, especially the finishes, you know, that's what people want to see. Is there anything you can point to say that's why I was able to do it, why I was able to get those finishes?
Yeah, for sure. UFC likes, fans likes when someone, you know, when I finish. And this fight is gonna be finished too. I'm gonna finish Gamrot, and you know, yeah, it's gonna be a good fight. And after this fight, I'm gonna talk a lot about my division, guys who doesn't want to fight with me. And after this fight, they cannot like accept fight with me.
Gamrot, what do you think of him as an opponent? Obviously a very talented grappler as well. I mean, I guess what do you think about him as a fighter?
Yeah, he's a good fighter, tough fighter, but he's not in my level. You know, I'm different. I'm in different level, and I want to show this weekend.
Is he a guy that you thought you would have to fight, you know, given that you're both kind of making your way up at the same time?
You know, Dan Lambert, he didn't want to see this fight because we are both from ADT, and he said like we are both like, you know, future contender, and but it is what it is. You know, nobody wanted to fight with me. That's why just Gamrot said, "Oh yeah, I want to fight," and it's good for me. You know, he has a good name. He's in top 15, and yeah, I'm happy to be here and fight with him.
I know it's an MMA fight, but you guys both have pretty fun grappling. Do you expect this place to be a grappling bout, or do you expect the striking to factor into it?
I expect it's gonna be everything, you know, because you know we are both like mostly wrestlers, you know, and but I feel my striking is good. I'm gonna do mix, you know, try to do wrestling, striking, you know, took him down, hold, you know, like, and it's gonna be like scramble, but I gotta be very smart, and we have a game plan, and I'm gonna keep that game plan, and I'm gonna win this fight.
Because it's a main event, I mean, is a win enough, even if it's a decision, or do you feel like I've got to finish him, I've got to entertain, I've got to impress the bosses?
Yeah, I wanna finish him, you know, because if I finish him, it's gonna be a little bit different story, you know, and in my mind, I have a just finish, you know.
And last thing for me, you said, you know, you're going to be calling out some people in the division after this. I mean, how high do you think you should rise up the ranks? I mean, are we talking top 5 after this? I mean, what kind of position do you think you should be?
After this fight, I should be in top 5, probably number 6, number 5. And you guys gotta help me after this fight. Talk about me a lot, and you know, I beat Joel Alvarez, but my rank didn't go very high, you know. But I thought like Alvarez, he's a good fighter, you know. I beat very easy. I thought I get like number 7, 6, but I hope after this fight I gotta be in top 5, you know, because Gamrot, he's a good fighter, and I'll stop him, and I'll get in top 5. And after this fight, I wanna be contender, and I wanna get fight from top 5 guys.
Hey, Arman. Were you surprised that the UFC matched you and Gamrot up?
No, I didn't surprised because I'm in top 15 and he's in top 15, and this fight almost we chose together. You know, I call out someone and he said he accept that fight. You know, that's why UFC if he accept, I accept fight. You know, UFC like did this fight, and when he won like last 3 fights and he got in top 15, I already like checked him, you know, because he's gonna. I thought he's gonna be one day my opponent. That's why I watched his fight, and you know, and I knew that he's not runner. You know, he doesn't run from good fighters like another guy, and he doesn't choose fights too like me.
Your last 2 fights, you finished both your opponents, and then your prior fights, you were just dominating them. What changed? Like, what made you want to finish your opponents?
You know, I changed my mind, and I now I know like I gotta like stop opponent, show like good fights. You know, not just run and you know like punch, run. You know, I don't wanna be like this because fans and UFC likes show. You know, and I gotta knock him out this weekend, and you know, and yeah, I am gonna be happy, you know, after this fight.
The rumor is that Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev are going to fight. I just wanted your thoughts on that fight. Do you think Islam is the man to beat Charles, or do you think Charles is the man?
I think Islam he's gonna beat Charles Oliveira because Islam has a better freestyle wrestling, you know, and has a good grappling. And Charles, I think, can't like choke him or do something. And striking, Islam has he's doing very like safe fight, you know, and he doesn't throw some crazy things, you know, and he fights very safe. That's why Charles can do, you know. And yeah, my opinion, Islam can win him like decision, 5 rounds.
Gotcha. Cool. Thank you.
Good. А?
this for advertising or is it for me?
No, you can have it.
Okay. Or both.
Both. I mean, it's definitely there for advertising, but you can also drink from it. Well, Josh, talk about your UFC run, right? I mean, you've had some ups and downs, but I mean, I guess how have you felt so far about your performances and just the way things have played out?
So far, I'm not very happy with my performances so far. Even my victory, I wasn't really happy with it. And I think it's because I have made being in the UFC and fighting my full-time job. It put a lot of pressure on me. It was a lot of, I have to win. I have to do this. This is what I do to feed my kid. This is how I'm going to pay my bills. It put a lot of pressure on me. And I felt so many nerves before all of my fights, just way more than I've had in, I think I have like 50 fights. It's way more. And at first I just thought it was because I was in the UFC. But I realized it's not necessarily that. It's just because what I've made it in my life. I made it my job, and it's no longer the fun thing that I used to do anymore. So since then, I've made some changes. I got a new thing where I'm making money, and now this can be the thing I do for fun now. It doesn't have to be the thing that I provide for my family and all that stuff.
Such an interesting balance, right? Because you, as an athlete, you want to be able to have as much time as you can to train, but you're certainly not the first person that said that. Like, the mental side of it is just grueling if that's like all you have and that's all you focus on, right? So I guess how did you figure out that's what needed to change?
It was just the last fight. I just realized, like, I was just so worried about my daughter. I just kept thinking about my daughter, about like, oh, I have to win. I have to. I want to provide all these things, and I want to be a provider, and I just clicked finally, I guess, and it took 4 fights or 3 fights, unfortunately, but I'm glad that I finally got there because I feel great right now. I feel my last fight, I was nervous a week out before the fight. I was laying in bed and my heart is just beating out of my chest, and I'm not even in Vegas. I'm laying in my bed. He's not going to just jump out of the closet and get me. And it's never about the fight. It's just always about the outcome that makes me nervous, and I keep thinking about these what ifs. But this one, I just feel so good, and I know the nerves are eventually going to come. I mean, eventually, I hope they do, right? A little bit, but it's nowhere near like it was last time, where it was just so overwhelming. And by the time I got in there, I was broken.
So the time off between fights, was that just kind of to take time to get all this stuff sorted out and like this new section?
No, it's actually, I thought I hurt my elbow in it, and then I went and seen a specialist, and the specialist said, yeah, you need surgery. And then I went, but he said he wanted to send me to another guy who specializes on it, and I went to see that guy, and he said, you don't need surgery. So I kind of went through this thing where I thought I was going to have to get surgery, and I didn't have to.
All right, so you get matched up. Alan Baudot is an opponent. Interesting because he's had some decent performances but maybe not results. What have you seen in his tape, or what do you think about him as an opponent?
As far as him as an opponent, I think that he fights a lot like Tsarukyan in the way that he kind of is on the retreat. I think sometimes he pressures forward, but he always falls back to what he defaults on, and that's fighting very similar to Cyril. And styles make fights. I think that style is really good for me because I am much better when people are backing up. I've traditionally had a harder time, or historically rather, when people pressure me. And now I got to wait for, or worry about takedowns and all this other stuff. And I've realized that, like, the person who's winning the fight is usually the one that isn't reacting to somebody else. If you're reacting to what I'm doing, you're not doing what you want to do, and I'm winning. And I think he's a person that does a lot of reacting to what other people do.
So in this fight, like, what is success for you? I mean, obviously, I guess victory is always success, but is it more just about, like, getting through fight week and not feeling pressure, or just feeling happy? I mean, are you measuring success outside of just win and loss?
I think success for me is going in there and having fun, but also one big thing is I wanted to enjoy this week because, like I said before, I just never enjoyed it. I worked so hard to get in the UFC and accomplish these things, and I was so excited to get there, and then when I get here, it's miserable, right? So I'm really grateful to be here and to take it in and actually enjoy it, the 4th fight in. But worst case, maybe it doesn't work out the way I planned, and and it is what it is. But at least the last time I was here, I got to really take it in, enjoy it, and appreciate what I've done.
Last thing for me, I guess, heavyweights, we know the fights can end pretty quickly on either side, but what type of fight are you anticipating? Is this one that you think might go longer? Is this one that you think you can get out of there early? What type of fight do you think we see?
I think it'll probably be a long one. I would rather it not be and be pleasantly surprised. I'm probably just saying that so it doesn't happen. So I don't have to work out for 15 minutes. That really sucks.
Hey, Josh. After your last fight, you like really raw, and you wrote about your loss on your Instagram, and you said like 10 days you felt different, and then you had to you rushed to get some self affirmations, and you tried to get a hypnotist and stuff. Like, kind of expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, I just tried to like the self affirmation, just repeating things to myself. I'm grateful to be here. All I can control is my effort. All those things are really important, but I really tried to crunch them in at the last minute there because I was freaking out. I was having a freak out, and I don't know what it's called, but there's something where people can only take on stress for so long, and then you eventually just can't hold on to that stress anymore. It's kind of like you see real world situations where people really care about this one thing for a week, and then you don't ever hear about it again. It's because people just can't hold on to stress that long. It's just like your body's natural defense. And by the time I got there, I was just tired and broken, and I just didn't even care. I just wanted it to be over. I was sick of it, right? And it was funny because after I left and I went in the back, people were like, okay, we'll see you next time, Josh. I'm like, no, you won't. I'm done. I'm never coming back here. But after I got away from the situation, I'm like, no, I don't want to end that way. I love it. I know that if I can fight the way that I want to fight and have fun, I know that I can do big things here, and I'll be proud of my performance.
You've kind of talked about it, right? But you worked your ass off so hard to get to the UFC, man. You did it tough, and then you did the Contender Series, and you went back to the Contender Series, and you finally make it. And then is it just the stress and the expectation of being a UFC fighter, or have you, or are you still trying to find out what led you to your first 4 performances?
Like I said, I think it's just because this is my job now, and I don't know about you guys, but I've never really enjoyed a job in my life, right? So when I made it my job, it's oh, this is not fun anymore. This is not the fun. That's not the thing I do on the side for fun that I enjoy. So I'm hoping that that's what makes me feel better, and I'll perform how I want to perform because it's the fun thing again. It's my leisure time.
Gotcha. And then finally, this is the last fight on your contract, right?
Yes, it is.
So does that? I mean, I don't want to give you more stress, but is that more stress just thinking about that? You have to go out there and you have to win.
No, it's not more stress on me. And I said before, the affirmation thing. Now I actually feel that all I can do is give my all, give everything that I can. What I have is a lot. I have a lot to give, but I'm not super. If it doesn't work out how I planned it, I'm obviously gonna be devastated. But it doesn't put a lot of pressure on me. It's not I have to win. I have to go out there and I have to perform and win. It's instead, I have the opportunity to go out there and win and perform, and I have so many opportunities to have fun out here and do exactly what I wanted to. It's not I have to. It's a thing that I can do.
Gotcha. Cool. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.